Greetings from Agape Ministries. This is your digital pastor, Pastor Sam, talking about how to save your marriage and crush the devil's head or the demon's head that the devil sends your way. Look at this beautiful sunset first. I just wanted you to have this beautiful view. I'll take you on a virtual walk with me if you're stuck at home during these fake pandemic times. The virus is completely overblown, folks. It's the world elite's choice weaponry to reduce the population from 7 billion all the way to about 1 billion globally. We're going to talk about that in our next video, how they're going to implement it, starting with vaccination. Mass vaccines starting in December or January 2021, and stay tuned for that. But today I wanted to take you on a walk with me. See, now I'm walking backwards, I'm walking forward, and share with you a real case scenario, real life scenario. So when you're fighting with your wife or husband, do you really think that the person that you're fighting with is this sort of an incompatibility issue, psychological incompatibility, or is something that you're disagreeing with? Do you really think that's what's going on, folks? If you do, you're gravely mistaken, because behind every fight, verbal, physical, warlike effort, actually World War I, World War II, were started by demons, different ranking demons. So there is hierarchy in the invisible world of spirits, just like in the army of the human beings. There's the general and there's the private, and many other ranks in between. Very similarly, in the demonic realm, in the world of the spirits, there is Satan, the devil, Shaitan, or Iblis in Arabic, and there are many other lower ranking demons or spirits that go around who never sleep. In the ancient times, in the times of antiquity, they were called those who never sleep, because they don't have physicalities, they don't have eyes, they don't have the digestive system. They just simply analyze the data. They have access to information, your emotions, your past, your future, all of your emails, everything. They go through walls. They're in that different multi-dimensional sphere, if you want to call it. They're in the 4th, 5th, 6th, 12th dimension, whatever you want to call it. That's hidden from our brain. Well, our brain cannot process it. We're just limited to this sort of space. Look, the sun is shining. Look, the grass is green. We cannot comprehend where they are, what they are exactly, other than just they're spirit beings without physicalities. They know our past from day one because they witnessed the creation of Adam and Eve and our universe and galaxies. They are eternal, folks, which is, for us, it's very hard to comprehend, because just a few years ago, astrophysicists have recorded a 30-second explosion of a mega star whose light traveled to us on Earth 16 billion years. Do your research. It was the brightest object in the sky for 30 seconds, and all astrophysicists and astronomers who recorded that, they said they have completely been stumped by this event, meaning the amount of energy that was released by that star that exploded 16 billion years ago. Or it's actually, it's beyond that. Their calculations, they cannot even fathom the distance or how it took that light to reach to us 16 billion years, folks. So the distance, they don't have enough zeros and ones. They're running out of digits. They're running out of human logic. They're running out of human. Those are the brightest scientists on the face of the earth. They all were stumped. To watch this discovery on the Discovery Channel, or just go on YouTube, just type in the brightest star a few years ago, you'll see it 16 billion light years ago. It put everything that we knew up until that event into the toilet. Basically, we don't know how big our universe is, how fast it's expanding. Actually, our universe, they say now, is expanding at the speed of light. So the distance, bringing it back to the demonic realm, that is the realm we cannot even begin to comprehend. It's very similar. Just like that supernova explosion of a few years ago for 30 seconds in the sky. We don't know how the amount of data they have access to. They even have data into the future, because there is no past or future. We think in a linear way, they think in this multi-dimensional way. So, folks, on your best day, you are no match for demons. If you think you can sort of stretch your muscle, your intellectual muscle, you're no match. They're laughing at you. I'm being honest with you. No matter how religious you are, how strong, you only have prayer, fasting, and God for His protection, because God will send His good angels to protect you. And that's the only sort of a defense mechanism, because if they want, they would tear you to pieces if there were no angels of God in this realm, in this universe. Meaning me, you, everybody else would be just a bloody bloodbath here. You know, there would be nothing left. There would be war, devastation, and we have some resemblance of order instead of chaos because of the angels that protect us, keep us safe. And that's why we must pray for our guardian angels to be always with us. This is why the Bible says, women, wear covering over your head, because of the angels. Because Adam was formed first, then Eve, and as a symbol of authority, she should be wearing the head covering. If she doesn't, she's being rebellious, and rebellious equal Satan, and Satan equals no place in God's kingdom. You understand? That's the simple logic here. You walk into a Greek Orthodox church, Roman Catholic church, you walk into a Russian church, Serbian church, all women wear those head coverings. It's just a safety mechanism, just to let the angels know, the good and the bad, that they're under the protection of the good angels, for the bad angels that they are. It's symbolism. It's kind of like, if you don't believe in that, if you're a witch doctor and you do your little ritual to kill somebody, you pull a tongue of a cow and you stick some nails in it, you do your little chanting to kill somebody remotely, it works. So how is it that you believe in that, but you don't believe that women should be wearing head coverings in church or otherwise, to be dressed modestly, not provocatively? How is it that you believe that you can kill a person remotely with a cow's tongue, with some chanting and voodoo blood spilling type of a ritual? That's cool, but it's not cool for women to wear a headdress. How is it, how twisted is your mind must be to accept a voodoo practice of killing a person remotely? It's a ritualistic curse that's very prevalent in all the European countries and Asian countries and throughout the world, where history is a little bit longer than 200 years. Well, I'm in North America, so you know, the United States is only 200 years old. It's a baby. And still, these practices do happen in big cities in New York City. You could hire somebody for $10,000 to kill somebody remotely. Yes. Those things, it's in Manhattan, Upper East Side. Happens every day. They pull out a tongue of a cow, stick nails, large nails, you know, like 10-inch nails. They do their little chanting and dancing around. They pour some blood of chickens, and then the person dies, choking in blood. It's like it's every day. Usually those people are from Haiti. Haiti is a little island in the Caribbean. So how is it that that is okay? Meaning, yeah, people can accept that. Wow, you want to kill somebody, you just talk to a witch doctor, pay him $10,000, and he'll take care of business. But to be protected against all these demonic realm attacks, women should wear covering? Are you kidding me? Oh my, no, that's an old, outdated. Well, how stupid are you folks? Realistically, I'm being honest with you. So you accept a voodoo practice, but you wouldn't accept a church established rule that comes from the apostles that spoke with the creator of the universe. Do you see how pathetic the situation is? And then you wonder why you're in a divorce situation. Then you wonder what went wrong. Well, this is what this channel is all about. We're analyzing the minute details of every transaction. We're reverse engineering everything, how the demons operate, how to get the protection of the angels, the good angels. And I just put it on different shelves. And, you know, I sort of boiled it down to the nuts and bolts here. So you accept a voodoo practice, yeah, they do that. That's their world, that's their realm, and it works. But you wouldn't accept a similar spiritual practice to get the attention of the good angels and to be protected. So that's your problem, folks, is because you have this buffet mentality, buffet Christianity, buffet religious sort of practice. You accept something and you reject something that is the most important thing. Why do you think Muslim women wear the scarves? For propriety and everything else. Yes, but also for the protection against the, what they call in Arabic, Iblis. Iblis, or Shaitan, is the Arabic equivalent of a demon So they're fine and we're not fine here in North America. How stupid is that? So our Muslim brothers and sisters, they pray minimum of 5 times a day. Why is it that we pray at the most, once or twice a day, at the most, if we feel like it? It's because we lack discipline. This is why we have all these problems. So my suggestion to you in these end times, if you want to see results, if you want to see progress somewhere, in any way in your life, and protecting your family, your children, your future, your marriage, you must be on the ground. You get it? On the ground, like this, face down. That means prostrate. That's the church language. Prostrate, if you don't want to look it up in Merriam-Webster's dictionary, it means face on the ground, like this. Face on the ground, you understand? Without lifting up your eyes to God. Because if you ever saw the angels of God or His presence, you would simply die. That's right. You would shit in your pants. You'd pee all over your silly little self. You understand? If you only knew the power of God, you would be like this, face on the ground, face on the ground. You understand? Prostrate before God and His holy angels. If you only knew. But because you don't, you watch CNN, you drink your little beer and you think life is good, well, think again. Next time you're tested, next time you go through another verbal fight with your spouse or your family member, you remember this. Remember this little exercise, face on the ground. Remember the sound that I'm making here, so you will get through your head where your face must be before God. This is how Muslims pray. This is how Buddhists pray. This is how Orthodox Christians pray. But no, in the West, you see, in the West, the devil has completely destroyed the perception of the Western people how they should pray. They think they should be, while driving and texting their friends, while eating a fat burger, they could say a quick prayer, God, keep me safe. Okay, cool, I'm almost there, while driving. No. This is why you have all your lives upside down and all your problems, because there's nobody behind you to offer protection from the holy angels. Do you understand how this system is all interconnected? There's nobody behind you to back you up, to offer protection. You're on your own. That's why you're being torn to pieces by the demonic realm, because your face is not on the ground, where it belongs. It should be on the ground. Face down, asking for God's protection, forgiveness first, repentance in these end times. These are the end times. If you don't believe it, look around. The sun is turning pink all throughout the United States because of the fires in Oregon and in California. We're thousands of miles away from California. We're getting these pink skies in the morning for the last week or so. How is it possible? Because of the fires. Well, you say, well, it's a logical explanation. Yes, but it is a combination of everything. The pink skies, the earthquakes, this demonic fake pandemic with COVID-19. The people who are making this happen, they're in the league with the devil. If they want New World Order to become a reality, they got to start somewhere. And this is how they start, folks. The next thing, they'll start pushing down the vaccines down your throat. And you will say, yes, thank you, Master. And then you'll worship. See, that's what everybody's trying to understand and decipher the book of Revelation. It was written by St. John on the island of Patmos, which is part of the Greek islands. But it was a prison in those days, just like Australia was for the British Empire. And so what do we have now? John wrote, he penned down some very enigmatic, highly symbolic visions that he has received. To translate it would be similar to going into any mental institution and try to decipher what a schizophrenic tells you, because it's the same level. John was sitting in this small cell, like 2 meters by 2 meters. No food of any kind, just water. He was given occasionally from some kind of a drain. When it rains, he gets some water. And the toilet was right in where he lived. There was no toilet. There was no plumbing, folks. So imagine those conditions for 40 years to live like that. What kind of a vision would you have? You would have some kind of a vision for sure. But try to decipher that, like I said, it's like going to any mental institution, talking to anybody that's in there, the patients, who's banging their heads against the wall And you say, well, what do you think about the end times? And he'll have some kind of a version of something. And then you write it down, you try to decipher. It will be the same effect as St. John on the island of Patmos. No different in that little 2 meter by 2 meter little cell without a toilet. Put yourself in his shoes, folks. What kind of a vision would you have? That's not normal human conditions. Even dogs would die in that type of a scenario. And he lived somehow. You know, people were very strong in those days. Every generation gets weaker and weaker. There's like babies today. They cannot even function if their internet goes down. Or something where they cannot live without their phone. I mean, it's insane, folks, how weak we are. How deceived we are by the devils, by the demons who are so crafty. It's just one last step is left. It's for them to essentially implement. Give you the vaccine for you to accept it, and then they push the button and 6 billion people die. And they just leave 1 billion on the planet as servants. That's the plan of the elites. Read it. It's all written out, folks. Long before 1991. It's all planned out down to the internet speed for various countries around the world. Because they wanted to have global connectivity. It's part of the plan. Without connectivity, if you cannot connect to the internet, you cannot be controlled, cannot get the information. So this, what I'm recording here using this technology, is actually their technology. That's why it's free. How do you think YouTube is able to host billions and billions of videos from idiots from around the world who post their stupid, nonsensical videos? They're not talking about religion. No, they're talking about some nonsensical stuff. It's because the system, the AI, the supercomputer is analyzing everything bit by bit, piece by piece to get to know you. So that in the future, everything will be controlled. And if you say something that's in disagreement with the system, they'll take care of you. They'll drive you in that cute little self-driving car. They'll drive you to a detention center with the doors locked. Remember, because there's nobody driving it but the AI, the mighty computer. And then they'll take you inside the detention center for a little conversation to see if you get their agenda. And if you disagree, then they'll treat you differently. But that's just a sort of a general synopsis of future events. Right now, today, if you're struggling with your health, with your marriage, everything it's a cause and effect scenario, folks. You're not face on the ground talking to God. You're not praying to God. There's this proud creature, just like Satan himself, walking around thinking, oh, I'm going to heaven, whatever, you know, what you think of yourself. No. Jesus said that those who are his practically almost apostolic type of people on the face of the earth, that people who healed the sick, who prayed almost daily, but they lacked something in them from the eternal perspective, folks. Jesus said, on that day, the great day of judgment, he will look at them and say, go away from me, I never knew you. And those are the ones that were supposedly very close to God. So my point, folks, the part of this ministry, agape is a Greek word, by the way. Everything comes from Greek, sort of that tradition. You know, 80% of the religious words in our vocabulary are from the Greek language. So agape means the highest form of unconditional divine love of God. It comes from God that surpasses, transcends all human understanding. We cannot even begin to comprehend. Just like the astrophysicists who have discovered also a few years ago dark matter or dark energy that actually comprises 85% of the mass of the universe. It's not the visible objects like the sun, like the stars. No. That's just small percentage of the mass of the universe. It's the invisible part in between. It has 80% of the mass of the universe. It's alive and it's expanding, and they don't know what it is. This is what I call agape energy, folks. They call it dark matter. I call it agape energy because that's God's presence. That's the glue that holds all things together. That's right. This is why our ministry is called Agape Ministries. And so back to the story. So of those who are supposedly the righteous people, Jesus will tell them in the end times, at the time of judgment, I never knew you. Basically, get the hell out. I never knew you. You think too much of yourself because they're proud, meaning they're already sort of, folks, the point of this ministries is to prepare you, give you the tools, and make you less proud. The pride that's in us, all of us, me, you, everybody else, must be reduced to preferably zero. Only then we might have a chance or hope to see God face to face. And on earth, how could we sort of get closer to that reality? We must pray 5 times a day. We must help people, all the homeless people, give them money. Don't worry about what they're going to do with it. It's not your place to judge them, you understand? Your place, whenever they ask for your help, anybody asks, give. Everything you have. They ask for an apple, give them 2 apples. They ask for a dollar, give them $2. If you can, you know. They ask for a tunic, give them your pants as well, whatever you have, a bag, everything you have, just give. Don't worry about the rest. And then you will have that label, the child of God, meaning that you will have that sort of a closeness to God that is required to have the hope to enter his kingdom when your physical heart stops pumping blood through your system. That's how the system, this planet, this cosmos operates, folks. In a nutshell, in 5 minutes here. This is your little synopsis. If you don't believe me, try it. And then you will see those results. Look at this beautiful, beautiful sunset. This is absolutely incredible. And this is why I'm here outdoors trying to film it for you. So if you're stuck inside, at least you have a chance to enjoy it like this remotely. This is beautiful. Most beautiful sunset. Yeah. And so my point here is very simple, folks. Focus on God, pray, give alms to the homeless, to the orphans, support the orphans, the widows, everybody who comes to you for help. And then you have that hope to be closer to God through his angels, through his spirit. And just overall, that will bring that humility that is required to be called a child of God, to be closer to God. You understand? There is no other way. There is no other way. The world is so pathetically prideful. So pathetically prideful and satanic and demonic and dark that I would say, in my estimation, approximately 1% of the people, folks, 1% are, perhaps 1% are walking with God and they're all okay. The other 99.99% are these demonic creatures that keep procreating. When they make babies, they actually make satanic little beings that keep procreating their own satanic little beings. This is why some people should not breed, as is so wisely spoken. You know, at the time of Noah, when God destroyed this planet with the great flood, he found one person in his family who were righteous. That was Noah, holy Noah. It was the 10th from Adam, 10th in line, down the line, in generationally speaking. So, and he saved him. And the Noah's Ark to this day is resting on Mount Ararat on the eastern slope, which used to be the kingdom of Urartu. Now it's called Armenia. Used to be part of the USSR. In 1921, the Treaty of Kars gave the mountain back due to some military disagreements between 3 countries, USSR, Turkey, and Iran, to settle the conflict that was caused by the Kurdish guerrilla fighters. They're just sticking their nose everywhere. These Kurds, you know, that don't have their own state, don't have anything, and they were just causing problems, militaristic. All they have is weapons. They're just they're bred to sort of cause military conflicts everywhere they go, other than the farmers. So because of those conflicts, serious conflicts, the USSR they agreed to give the plateau where the holy Mount Ararat sits, to detach it from Armenia, and they gave it to Turkey. So now that holy mountain, only 35 kilometers from Yerevan, the capital city of Armenia, sits on Turkish territory. And then Joseph Stalin tried to get it back from Turkey, and because he is Georgian. His last name is actually not Stalin. That's just a nickname. It means heart of steel. His real name is Jugashvili. That's his last name. Like Smith, something like that. But Georgia, Armenia, they're very, very close. Armenia was the first state religion that Gregory the Illuminator adopted in Armenia, Kingdom of Armenia, in 301 AD, Anno Domini, in the year of our Lord. So, and Georgians, Armenians are also like cousins. So Joseph Stalin being the from Georgia, he tried to get the mountain back. My point, folks, is this: if you're wondering, it's that close. I've been there on that mountain. I've seen the Ark on the eastern slope. Yes, you have to pay some people, bribe some people to be led, because they usually bring the tourists to the wrong side. They usually all of them bring them to the western slope, and they basically take their money and they just kind of leave them there. You see, western slope, there's violent storms and you cannot see it. Winds 200 miles an hour. The elevation is 5,100 meters, 27 meters of the mountain. It's just slightly above 4,000 meter range. 4 kilometers meaning, and so you have to do your own calculations if you don't know no metric. But the point is, it's on the eastern slope. It's most incredible thing. It's only one time in July when everything thaws. It's in permafrost. The Ark, Noah's Ark, is embedded into the slope of the mountain on the eastern slope. Enormous man-made object with a corner of it protruding from the mountain. It's set in permafrost. It's black in color, and that's part of that gopher wood style, whatever was described in the Bible. So the point, folks, it's there. I've seen it. And very few people in the world have that experience. To have it, it's breathtaking. It changed my life forever, and I'm here to share it with you. Just like the sunset, every sunset, every evening, folks, we're supposed to thank God for everything we've received or lost, and most of it, folks, most of that is cause and effect. Most of it is cause and effect. So if your goal is to have peace, tranquility, equilibrium in your life, you must start with your prayer life. For your health, breathing exercises. We breathe too shallow. We must allow, what's called diaphragmatic breathing, that every athlete and every professionally trained singer, like operatically trained singer, would tell you how to breathe diaphragmatically. And to put it simply, folks, you have to just allow a longer pause between inhaling and exhaling, which we don't do. I'm going to demonstrate to you right now so that you have that managed, handled. So when you breathe properly, you're supposed to inhale, pause, and exhale. And the pause ideally should be 3 minutes, but in real time, at least 20 seconds, 30 seconds. If you can bring it up to 30 seconds, you have arrived. You will never get sick. They could drop you in the ice water, you'll survive. So here's what the ideal, long story short, breathing pattern is. So I'm going to show you with my hands so you can gauge yourself. So when you inhale, deep exhale, and you pause in between, something like this. And so on and so forth. You get the gist of this methodology. It will actually properly redistribute your CO2 levels. Your vital organs will be in tip-top shape. No more fibromyalgia, no more headaches, no more migraines, no more, you will lose weight like crazy, especially if you add grapefruits in your diet, or get one grapefruit in the morning on an empty stomach after you do your morning meditative prayer type of session with a glass of water that's filtered, that is actually comes from a glass jar, never plastic, with some lemons floating there in the refrigerator. You pour some water, you don't watch any news, you say a prayer, you meditate over your water. It's an ancient practice. The water collects your good thoughts, and then you drink, you become one with water. So you say thank you to God, to the creator of the universe, for everything you have. and then you kind of encapsulate it in the water. Then you wait 30 minutes standing up. You never sit down. The water must be absorbed in that certain way while you're vertical. Then you eat your grapefruit 30 minutes after you drank the water. And then you don't eat anything for the rest of your day until the evening hour. I've lost 40 pounds in 90 days. Of course, you have to maintain, you have to be walking and jogging every day, playing tennis, which I'm going to do here in a second. I'm just showing you this beautiful, beautiful evening, sharing with you my thoughts while I'm walking backwards. Isn't that something? Now I'm walking forwards. And you should be able to do this same routine, no matter how old you are. Why? Because our bodies are made for that. So you could be running, or you could be running backwards, you see? It doesn't make any difference, folks. Zero difference to me. And then I'm switching. I'm running sideways. Now I'm running forward, folks. I'm sharing this with you. If you can do this, you are golden. You are golden, because we are made in the image of God, and all of these diseases come from processed food, from improper sleep, from improper regimens, from improper thinking, from too much negativity, from all the poisoning that's happening in our lives. And if you follow our methodology, you'll be happy, healthy, and wise by starting with breathing exercises, walking every day, talking to nature. They have their own language, which we're going to talk about. And then most importantly, folks, prayer, 5-10 times a day, face down on the ground. Not maybe on a concrete slab, but at home, on your carpet. This is why, again, I keep bringing up Muslim women. They got it all perfected. They have a special prayer rug. It's smart. It's smart. You don't have to sort of a label as a Muslim thing. It could be a Christian thing. It could be just a believer's thing. A prayer rug should be your favorite thing. It's time to go pray without even a reminder. You face down on the ground. This is how all the Orthodox people pray, by the way. They call them prostrations. They prostrate before God. And that's what you should do. If you're not going to do it, you're done. The devil has got you. This is the final hour, folks. This is the warning. You don't heed this warning, you're done. Your one leg is in the skillet, the fiery skillet, sulfuric acid, where the demons are going to be frying you in hell. You understand? This is my friendly message to you. I don't know how else to put it so it will get through your skull, through your head. Your pea-sized brain is not registering this message, obviously, if you have some doubts. Now, if you do believe, keep on watching. I'm glad. I'm just sort of addressing those who keep always arguing, saying, you know what, that's a myth. Okay, you wait until your heart stops beating, and you find out, you text us from the other side. You say, okay, Pastor Sam, you were right. There is this big skillet, whatever, it's high temperature, and we're here disconnected from God for all eternity. How nice is that? You text us, let us know over here. Warn us, right? Warn us, Folks, on this note, I hope you get the point. You have this one chance. You have to be led to this kind of a salvation, almost by faith. But the nature, everything points to that. You have to be really stupid to miss it, really. It's just me talking to you from heart to heart, you understand? While the sunset was beautifully setting here. Go for walks. Prayer, meditation, proper breathing, proper nutrition, grapefruit in the morning. You lose some weight. As far as connecting with God, 5 to 10 times a day prayer. Sort of unannounced, where you're not forced to do it. You're just doing it out of the goodness of your heart because you miss God. He must become your special... really, it's your special parent, if you will, who created you and this universe. You were made in the image of God. If for 1 second, folks, for 1 second, there's a video I'm going to do about my trip to the other side. For 1 second, if you really, 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 truly realize what you are, who you are, and your powers, indeed, you would say, if your faith was as little as this mustard seed, if you ever seen them, they're tiny little bits, little round circles, spheres. If your faith was as little as a mustard seed, you could say to this mountain, uproot yourself and go and you know, go take yourself to the ocean, and it will actually obey you. The mountain will actually uproot itself and then displace itself into the ocean. It's very true. Our potential is unlimited because we're just God's creation, made in the image of God, but deceived by these ugly demonic creatures. And then so everything you see around us, the behavior of people, the negative, I'm talking about the negative part, is the behavior that we copy, that the silly people copy, thinking it's cool because everybody else is doing it. No, everybody else is going to hell. Are you ready to go to hell? Try it out. No, if not, then don't do what they do. Do what Noah did in the days of Noah. Remember, Jesus said, in the last day, before I come, it will be just like in the days of Noah. Everybody's going to be busy marrying, giving into marriage, and nobody will be paying attention to the signs of the times. And our ministry here is to bring your attention to this. The skies are pink in the morning, folks. There are earthquakes. There will be a huge earthquake in the state of California, in other states, in other countries, everywhere. There will be turmoil. These fires will multiply. Wars will be everywhere. Well, this pandemic, folks, is a form of World War III on a global level, except they don't use tanks, missiles, or any other sort of a modern technology. They use biological forms of weaponry. They use psychological forms of weaponry. And of course, they use economic forms of weaponry. What do you think this is? This COVID-19 globally, all the businesses have been shut down. The tourism, the airlines are gone. So what do you think this is, folks? Do you think this is a joke of some sort? That this is going to pass? This is not going to pass, folks. This time it's not going to pass because it's not going to get better. There's no such thing as going back to normal. This is it. I'm thankful to God that I have this opportunity to take my time to go for walks and record this for you. So you have this chance to listen to this in the comfort of your home, wherever you are, and heed the warning that this is it, folks. This could be my last devotional. Devotional is a small, short service or sermon. This could be my last communication, my last devotional to you, my beloved listeners, globally, throughout the world. It's because this message goes out globally. On YouTube, high definition, that's the way I prefer it. You know, we cannot meet inside a church anymore. Is this normal? No, folks, it's the new world order. So that's why I'm doing everything I can. But this could be our last message, our very last message ever. So they may not be due to some cataclysmic events, folks. When you listen to this, cherish the moment that you have a chance to get closer to God. Get on your knees, ask for forgiveness. And just like that criminal that was crucified next to Jesus, if you're genuine, God will accept you right there and then, and you will be forgiven of everything. It involves a lot of tears and a lot of genuine sort of a crushed spirit type of approach. It's not going to be just words. You know, the words are cheap, folks. Talk is cheap. You got to connect, and in tears and in prayer. This is why I'm saying on the ground, face on the ground, asking God for His forgiveness, for His guidance, for His protective force from the angels, from His Spirit. Then you're okay, folks. Then God will forgive you any sin that you have committed in the past, and there are many. There are many sins, and He wants to do all that. That's His heart's desire. That's why our ministry is what it is to speak the truth, no sugarcoating, and to bring you closer to God. And while you're in the process, help you with your exercising, with your financials, you know, how to survive this economic crisis, how to breathe, how to lose weight, how to, you know, just how to function, folks. These are unprecedented times. It's never been like this before. But I could transmit this sermon remotely, and there's no other communication. This has never been done like this before, folks. And so enjoy it, folks. Enjoy it, because cherish it. I mean, carpe diem, enjoy every day, every moment, every breath that you take is a gift from God. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. That's why I keep saying, folks, in the Bible it says, when you plan, you make plans, say, God willing. Or as our Muslim brothers say in Arabic, inshallah, we'll do so and so, such and such deed tomorrow. Don't say I'm going to do it tomorrow, folks. This is why I'm saying tomorrow is not guaranteed to me or you. It's not. So God willing, we'll do another devotional tomorrow. But if not, this is it. Enjoy it. Absorb it. Use it. Use this knowledge that I'm sharing with you. You know, that's again, heart to heart. There is no sort of, I'm not sugarcoating. Notice, I'm not like Greg Laurie from California that sort of tells jokes most of the time. He's 75 or 80. He's pushing 80. And he dresses like a teenager with those kids, those little tennis sneakers. That it's unbelievable what's inside his head. His head is empty, completely empty. If he's at 75, dresses like that and tells jokes most of the time in his congregation, I understand he doesn't want to lose his congregation because if he starts talking like this, heart to heart, what's needed, he's going to lose them all tomorrow, because nobody wants to hear about the problems. Everybody says, well, I'm great. Look, why don't you just sort of prop up my ego even more? No, folks, I don't give a damn about your ego. I'm here to tell you what God's expectations are for everybody on this planet. If you're going to follow God, everything will be okay. I don't want to waste anybody's time. I don't care about your ego. Your ego is already in a stratosphere. It needs to be reduced, cut down, burned up, and detonated with a thermonuclear weapon, meaning reduced to nothing. Your ego is your biggest problem. And that's what Greg Laurie and other pastors don't address. They just sort of entertain you there, collect your little money, and then they send you back to continue sinning. In Los Angeles, California, the most popular gift to a graduating young woman who turned 18, who's graduating from high school, is a breast augmentation surgery. Now you tell me, how deprived is the mind of that population? You know, the 12 million people or 18 million people live in the metropolitan area of Los Angeles, California. Now, you cannot come up to anybody in Los Angeles, California and tell them, do you see a problem with that? They won't be able to understand what you're asking them. Now, you tell me, how deprived is that? That they accept, the Bible says, Jesus said, if you look at a woman with lust, to lust after her, you already committed sin in your life. And they're selling breast augmentation surgery as a reward for maybe getting good grades or graduating from high school. I mean, how satanic is that? And you cannot even come up and sort of correct them. They're that satanic. So if God wants to destroy all this nonsense, I'm for that. We're going to all go and hopefully be saved somehow before that. But the point is, folks, it has reached a point where on television or on YouTube, whatever, those stupid commercials pop up. You watch a preview of a movie where a teenage boy who's 14 or 15 comes up to his father and says, Dad, I have my first period, or I'm pregnant, or something like that, some nonsense like that. And some group of people that are actually funding this PR campaign, public relations campaign, to sell this demonic nonsense, sell this agenda from the demons to the masses, the unsuspecting, silly brains who will going to repeat that. So if you're a young boy, it's okay to have a period. How demonic and distorted is that? This is the realm of the demons, folks. If you don't understand this realm, if you think it's okay for there to be 19 genders, you are gravely mistaken. You're going to burn in hell. You're going to 100%, you're going straight to hell. Like 1,000,000%. You got a ticket, amigo. Pack your bags. Now, so if the message sort of like surprises you, I thought it was cool to have 19 genders, then you were on your way to hell. Now, if you suspect there is something wrong, there's hope. If you know, like I do, that there should be just 2 genders, men and women, and they mate and they make babies. In no other way, because God ordained so, and you don't mess around with God, because if you try to spit in God's face, there are consequences. The consequence in the first place was the great flood. Only one family, one person remained. There was Noah and his family. You see the grave consequences for that? Stupid action, that they were just mating with anything that walked. That's what we're experiencing today, that there's homosexual pastors out there, or priests even. It's unthinkable. And it's happening in front of our eyes. And there's consequence for that. God will pour his wrath like you wouldn't believe, through earthquakes or through all these devastations to get our attention. Look what he's done with Sodom and Gomorrah. He burned it to the ground with a thermonuclear weapon. It fell from the sky. What the weapon was, we don't know. How it was detonated, we don't know. I haven't been there, but well, we have a historical place where there's charred rocks and stones in a place where there used to be a city, supposedly Sodom and Gomorrah, next to each other. Kind of like Fort Worth, Texas. You know, there's the Fort Worth, Texas, and there's Dallas. They're kind of neighboring cities. Well, imagine Fort Worth and Dallas were burned to the ground with a massive thermonuclear weapon that's 1,000,000 times more devastating than what was dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Almost 2 peaceful cities in the face of the earth. They were Catholic cities. After the World War II was over, Harry Truman, this haberdasher, yes, he ran a haberdashery store, meaning women's lingerie he sold prior to becoming a U.S. president, because of his connections at the lodge, the local Masonic lodge. That's who got him into power. Prior to that, he was selling lingerie, folks, in the suburbs of Kansas City, Missouri. Yes, that's his heritage. And he was the one who spoiled the relationships with Joseph Stalin. Actually, he is the root cause of the Cold War, because he couldn't have his temper, this Midwestern little dialect, under control. He had to stick his stupid farm jokes into every conversation with the representatives of Joseph Stalin. Molotov was one of the people who was severely offended. He says, we've never been treated this way with these stupid jokes. You know, he had this sort of a Missouri ways, which does not belong in high politics. So he caused the Cold War. He dropped those 2 bombs. He's in hell right now. I guarantee you that, this Harry Truman guy. The war was over. They were already negotiating, because the Soviet army crushed the Japanese army in the Chinese territory from the north. It's factual. You can Google that. They were discussing how to bring out the safety of the Japanese emperor. They were capitulating. They were discussing what's going to happen to the emperor. And Harry Truman gave the order to drop those 2 bombs to demonstrate the power, to see what happens to those people when they were losing skin. Can you believe that? While he was sitting there in safety somewhere far away. Unbelievable. Never happened like that. Do you think, what's going to happen to this guy after his heart stops? Do you think he's going to be in heaven? No way, Jose. Are you kidding me? He's burning right now. For all those people that burn in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I guarantee you that haberdasher, that ruffian, that redneck haberdasher is burning in hell. I could see him right now dancing on the skillet, saying, oh my God, I was wrong. It's awfully hot in here, folks. So don't repeat the mistakes. Be very gentle. If you can forgive someone, forgive. If somebody offended you, try to forgive them. Don't be like Harry Truman. Don't drop any sort of weapons. Linguistic weapons. Don't drop any physical weapons. Don't drop anything. Because Jesus said, he who lives by the sword will also die by the sword. So imagine now what happened to Harry Truman when he dropped those bombs on those 2 peaceful cities where were predominantly Catholic. That's right, folks. He chose Catholic cities just to sort of prove a point. They were easiest points. If you study how it happened, and Enola Gay was the name of the airplane, which was the name of the mother of the pilot who dropped those bombs. Imagine putting your mother's name on an airplane to drop the bombs. How democratic is that, huh? Isn't that satanic or what? You're going to kill a bunch of people below, and you put your mother's name on the airplane who's going to drop the bombs. I mean, isn't that satanic? It's like Satan incarnate was painting those names, you know, those letters, gay, whatever. It's just unbelievable. It's like bringing democracy to Iraq, in the name of democracy, killing 3 million people and displacing them. Where everybody knew there were no weapons of mass destruction, folks. It was all a hoax. That mulatto guy at the UN, when he showed that little powder, there was nothing there, but it was a laundry detergent. Saddam Hussein never had any weapons of mass destruction. They just basically destroyed the country, rebuilt the country, and in the process made some money, because it's an economic activity. You know, moving the troops, that is good for the economy. Every time there's a war in a capitalistic system, folks, they're making money. Every time a missile, a rocket is fired, a Tomahawk missile, any other missile, cruise missile, it's a little over $1 million. So they fired a whole bunch of missiles, that's right there. There's $100 million. They brought in the troops, that's $400 million. They brought in heavy artillery, that's another 400. So they made about $1.5 trillion through the military effort, and they made another $1.5 to $2.5 trillion by rebuilding the infrastructure. Basically, they made about $5 trillion in that war. See how money is made in a capitalistic society, folks. Even during the war, which is hidden. If you're so naive you don't know anything about war in a capitalistic system, yeah, that's how it's made. And who's behind it? Demons. 100%, folks. 100%. Demons control the people who want to start a war to make money, because they justify the means to start a war, because it's profitable. Remember, in the capitalistic system, everything is controlled by the mighty dollar. Dollar is the key, folk. Dollar is the key. But anyway, the point here is this. If you don't understand this, that we are essentially on every corner influenced by the demonic realm, from your family relations to the political events, to wars, then you've kind of missed the point of this message. Because indeed everything in this world is run by the spiritual beings that we cannot see with our physical eyes, because our brains, that they say we only use 1% of our brain, the other 99% of the brain, folks, is used to filter out that information. Because if our brains were really somehow designed to see all that, we could not handle it. We would simply die. Remember, just like that massive star that exploded 16 billion light years away, we cannot comprehend the distance and the amount of energy that was released, that got to us. It was brightest object in the sky for 30 seconds, roughly. The amount of energy we cannot comprehend. There's not enough zeros. Same way we would not be able to comprehend the reality of seeing the battlefield of demons and angels and those fifth dimensional things. This is why we're simple. We're supposed to be very, very simple. We think we're the sort of technologically advanced. That's great. We have video conferencing now that I can transmit this message. But the point is, we are still simple simpletons. We have to lead simple lives, very humble, not proud, prostrate before God, ask for His guidance, for His forgiveness, for His protective powers, for His angelic presence. And that's all we got to do, folks. Nothing else. Nothing else. And be happy, give alms, walk daily, fresh air, play tennis, whatever your health allows you to do. And this is all we have until the day comes when a physical heart stops beating. And then we're face to face with that eternal kingdom where we will spend unlimited number of days, which will not exist at that point. And then we'll see that everything you heard here from me is kind of true. And you'll say, well, my goodness, I'm glad I followed Pastor Sam. Or if you're the other way around, you'll say, my goodness, I'm so sorry I didn't listen to him. He kind of talked funny. Never heard a sermon preached in that manner. But the point is folks, to me, it doesn't make any difference what you think. I could care less, if you will. It's your decision, and it is actually your kind of a prerogative to accept this message and follow it or not. I'm only a messenger. In this message, I've heard from God on the other side, which I'm going to cover in my separate video. And the communication channel was not in English or German or Spanish. It was in mathematics. That's the language that's actually spoken on the other side, folks. This language here that we use today, any language, is very, 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 very primitive. The language there is very beautiful. It's remember, the mathematicians know the golden mean, the pi, how the spiral of the galaxy represents the spiral of the water, that when you flush down your bathtub, everything is spiral. Everything is spiral. The hair grows spirally. The helix, the DNA helix, is spiral. Everything, folks, in this universe is mathematically kind of constructed. Mathematics is the core language of the universe, and that's the language that will be used on the other side. There won't be Hebrew, folks. No Hebrew, forget about it. Forget about it. It's mathematics that will be used, that everybody could understand. Something that kind of like 0 and 1, but it's in a different level, much more advanced. So when you get there, it will be too late to make any changes. Everything will be bare in front of you, meaning everything you've done, you've said, everything will be right in front of you. It cannot get away. And knowing what you know today, right now, you can make a change. You can kind of begin following God. You can begin praying. You can begin listening to our sermons. And you can begin seeing results, improvements. And then one day, my last suggestion will be to go on a 7-day fast where you don't eat anything, no salads, just water and prayer, prostrate before God. No news, no radio. If you cannot get away from your family, children, or friends, you need to go on a retreat to Canada. It's called madonnahouse.org. Look it up. You go to Canada, or you go to whatever log cabin you can find for a week without talking to anybody. And you will see God face to face. You'll be able to understand the language, that mathematical language, that unique language of the plants, the animals. And for the first time, you'll be able to get on the frequency of God, which is the most beautiful thing in the universe. The frequency of God is where He dwells. And it only comes from your silence. He's not interested in your babble. He's interested in your closed mouth, in open mind, in actually purified mind, if you will. Remember what's written in the New Testament. We must be getting closer to God by the renewing of our minds. This is almost like a commandment. Are you renewing your mind? Well, this is your opportunity. How to forcibly you can renew your mind. Forcibly meaning in being in that environment. Nobody to talk to. Just you, the Bible, and the prayer, and some water. Just you, some water. Bring nothing else with you. Of course, bring some food if you happen to sort of, feel like you will be dying. I mean, which I don't think you would. Most of us have an extra weight somewhere, But water should sustain you. Most people should be fine, unless you have some kind of a condition of some sort. That is a different story. But I'm just saying, ideally, you're by yourself. Ideally, you're just drinking water. Ideally, you're not talking to anybody. You're not listening to any news. You don't have your cell phone with you as far as looking at your emails. Everything's turned off. You're just in the middle of nowhere. You're talking to God. I've done it, and this is my testimony that you have to do it at least once in your life. This 7-day fast. It's called the desert experience of the early church fathers. They used to all go on this. So I'm sharing with you 2,000-year-old sort of a summary of the history of the church, of the mystic tradition, how to reach God. In 5 minutes, folks. It's an enormous gift. So, that's my last gift to you today. God willing, I'll do more messages. If not, then enjoy this one. More sermons, more devotionals like this. Walking backwards while showing off the beautiful sunset and fresh air. It's about 70 degrees, which is 21 degrees Celsius, 70 degrees Fahrenheit, low humidity. Mid-September, folks, mid-September. Look at the signs of the time. On this note, I want to leave you with my benediction. May the angels of God be with you. May God richly bless you, keep you safe, and your family members and your loved ones. And may you be renewed internally, spiritually. God bless you. Take care. And I hope to see you at the very top.